So literally any position that allows you to tune in for these opening breaths. We'll move into some seated movements and breath exercises after we tune in. Ujjayi whisper is optional. I find Ujjayi breathing very helpful in this opening meditation because it helps keep my mind coming back to something as subtle, as automatic as breathing. What we're doing here is a little more active than meditation because we are starting to turn up the breath. So we can feel it in the physical body. And the Ujjayi, the gentle constriction of throat, can be useful for slowing the breath down and directing the direction of the breath. So once you've got a sense of the rhythm of breath, a healthy breath will expand the lungs, the ribs, maybe the belly as you breathe in. And draw everything back to center as the breath leaves out, a deflating sensation. Now, as our breath has been unconscious for the better part of our lives, the conscious breath might do the opposite. You might find yourself breathing in and sucking your belly in, and breathing out, pushing belly out. We call that paradoxical breathing. Just relax around what you notice, feeling for ballooning on the inhale, centering on the exhale. And those of you who have that rhythm will start to invite the breath other places than the lungs as you scope out your physical body. You can almost imagine breathing into hips, knees, baby fingers. And the pragmatic will argue that your lungs don't go there, though fascia science says differently. You just notice what you feel. If you can imagine breathing into your right pinky finger, what do you feel? And through your physical yoga practice, one might say the poses are just opportunities to direct breath into those different body parts that are either being pulled on or compressed by the pose, palpating with your breath. If you're not in a sitting position, start to make your way up to sitting with a tall spine. Preparing for seated side bends. If you're not using Ujjayi breath, start to connect to your whisper sound now. Sitting any position where your spine is tall, free to move. We'll reach the fingertips out to the side. Inhale. Exhale, reach to your left. Right arm can come up, maybe all the way overhead. Just one full breath into the right side lungs, right side body. Exhale, press off the bottom hand to come to the other side. Slower than that if your spine tells you these first movements should be slower. Big breath in. And exhale, press up. Now keep going on your own breath rhythm, perhaps moving side to side on every breath. Perhaps indulging in the stretch on one side or the other for a few juicy breaths as you feel parts of the body wake up that weren't online just a few moments ago. This is a great exercise to do with eyes closed so you can really tune into feeling in and tap into your own unique movement without being influenced by the dancers you see around you, by the animals coming through. Boy, are they humbling. We need to move like them. But get a sense of that, your breath inside you, being just as exquisite as any bird you've ever seen, as any ballerina. Next time you come to center, take just a moment to pause, change the cross of your legs if you're cross-legged, and then resume your side bending and breathing. We'll keep this going for about 6 to 8 more breaths. That's plenty of time to pause and feel in any shape. Once you finish the round you're on, go to each side one more time. And then we'll meet back in center. Eyes closed, unless it's more focused for you to keep the gaze on the ground. Just feel what your breath feels like now that you move the ribs a little. Moving into another breath exercise, we'll do a couple rounds of Kumbhaka and then Uddiyana. You're welcome to sit in Baddha Konasana if you want a little more action in your hips. If it starts to create pain in low back or a tension in the hips and you're distracted from the breathing, you'll come out of the pose. Together, let's sync up the breath. Empty out of breath wherever you are. Let's inhale for a 5 count. 4, 5, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Adding breath lock, inhale. Hold the breath for 5, sitting up tall. Those of you who know Mula Bandha, Uddiyana, and Jalandhar Bandha, engage your locks. And then release your locks to breathe out for 5. Pause just a beat while empty and start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for 5. Optional lift up pelvic floor, diaphragm, and tuck chin down. And then relax all the pressure to breathe out for 5. Pause just a beat and start again. Do 4 more rounds like that on your own. Inhaling, holding, and exhaling for the same amount of time. You can change the count if that's more comfortable for you to make it longer or shorter. Ujjayi, welcome but not required. Once you finish the round you're on, do 1 more full round. When you're full of breath, let the shoulders be back, the heart open to receive your breath. Jaw soft. We'll do 3 rounds of Uddiyana Kriya. Change to the way you're sitting if you're uncomfortable. We'll breathe in fully, hold it just a beat, then we'll lean forward so we can empty out and soften the belly. Hold your breath out as you tuck your chin in and pull your belly in, and then re-lengthen your spine, sucking the contents of the belly up towards the heart, pulling the abdominal muscles up for traction, holding it out as long as you can, and then we'll relax the belly to breathe in. You guys are all familiar with this? Do I need to do a demo? All right. Let's all breathe in together. Bring your hands forward and empty out completely through your mouth. Stay empty. Tuck the chin in, pull your belly button in, and then re-lengthen your spine. Lift your chest. You can pull the ground towards you or push on your legs if that helps you get taller, and make room to draw the abdominals up into the rib cage. Flare the ribs to make space for all of that. And then when you have to breathe, relax your belly. 2 more rounds like that. Big breath in. Empty out. I forgot to say, if you've had lunch, you probably want to take it easy on this. You might be tasting your lunch now. Seated spinal twist, either cross-legged seat right in front of left, or some of you are ready for half lotus already. Right foot can be on left hip. Just don't strain your knee to get there. Twisting to your right, left hand to right knee. Right hand either pressing into ground behind you, or if you can sit up tall without the use of your right hand, right arm behind your back. And then it either maybe takes hold of some clothing so your shoulder can relax in the twisted position. Or maybe you tuck it into your pants. If you can reach your foot without straining, that's fine. Make sure your shoulder's happy about that. Exhale, unwind. Change the cross of your legs. Left in front or left foot lotus. Twisting to your right. I like to use right hand to gently push the knee down. You get that seesaw effect. Knee down, spine gets longer. Left hand can stay on the floor or a block, or maybe you do a half bind. Once you're holding something in your fingertips, you'll make space for your shoulder to hang down. Gaze wherever the neck is comfortable. Exhale, unwind. All right, one last seated exercise with breath. Sitting in square pose, either right shin in front of left. So like cross-legged seat, but you bring your feet a little further and then you walk them out towards your knees. So you're squaring off the shape at your shins and hips, just gets into a different area of hips. In flexible bodies, or those of you who are not in your first yoga class, might stack your shin on your shin for Kapalabhati breathing. So once you make your leg choice, make sure your spine, your belly, your ribs feel free to move with breath. Arms any position where your chest can be open. Chin slightly down, tall spine, gazing at tip of nose or close your eyes. We'll take 30 to 50 short, sharp exhales out your nose, like you're trying to snuff out a candle with your nose. It's all exhales. Breath will come back in automatically, but if you start to feel dizzy, that means you're done. All right, we'll breathe into about half capacity and begin. When you're done, when it stops being so sharp, exhale completely. Take a full breath in. Hold the breath for as long as is comfortable. Keep holding while you listen, maybe sip in a little more air through nose. When you're ready to breathe out, hands forward, exhale, slow with control into your forward fold. Forward fold might just be letting the head, neck fall forward. The major nerve that innervates the diaphragm, that activates our breathing, is in the neck. So that's a main reason we like to create softness in the beginning of practice in the neck. So you have full access to your breath, even when you're in those more challenging yoga poses where you want to hold the breath, where you feel squished. There's always room for breath. All right. Keep the neck relaxed as you come back up to sitting. Engage down around the tail and low belly to pull you up. Change the cross of your legs, square pose, left shin in front of right, or any other expression. Another round of Kapalabhati. I'm counting 30 slow, but if you start to get faster, you might do more. Let's breathe in to get tall, lift heart, chin down, and snap it out your nose. When you're done with your Kapalabhati, empty out so you can take a fresh breath in to hold. While you're holding your breath, you can engage your bandhas, lifting up pelvic floor, tucking chin down, and feeling a lift of the diaphragm, even though your lungs are full. If there's more room for breath, you lift your chin, sip in another sip, and then tuck it down. And when it's just about to be too much, hold on for one more beat, and then release into your forward fold with control. Ease into it. In forward fold, I always like to stay engaged at the Mula Bandha. Little contraction lift at pelvic floor, squeeze of the low belly. And that way I can scan for softness anywhere else that doesn't need to be holding me in the pose, like the jaw, like the diaphragm, like the buttocks. Keep your neck relaxed as you slowly come up. And we'll make our roll for abs with a roll. If you have something to roll up, grab your blanket or big beach towel. If you don't have such a thing, you can use your block substitute or nothing at all. If you have a yoga blanket, you'll unfold it so it's the quartered size, about half your yoga mat size. Fold it in half from its long end so you have a strip. And then roll the strip up. If you're using a beach towel, that's about the same size, same directions. Though since it might be thinner, you might want to fold it a couple times and then roll it up. So you've got something that when you put it between your thighs, it keeps your legs hips width apart. Gives you something to squeeze. So you roll it up tight so your legs don't have to work quite so hard. If they do have to work hard, I don't have a problem with that. All right, we'll line back with the roll against your pelvis. Those of you with SI joint issues, if you feel movement at the back of your hips, those of you guys whose hips grind or you feel that inflammatory sensation, you'll keep the roll closer to your knees. Some days I need to hold it closer to knees. Feet on the floor, hands interlaced behind head and neck. Fully supporting head and neck with your hands, point elbows to sky. Inhale down into your low back. Hold the breath in as you press low back into mat, tucking tail towards roll. Press the balls of feet down, lift your toes. Exhale, curl your head and shoulders straight off the mat, sending triceps to the ceiling as your head relaxes into hands. Pull navel to spine. Stay here, take a breath in, watch your belly balloon with your in-breath. And as you breathe out, pull your belly back into spine. See if your shoulders feel any lighter. And then relax head and shoulders down, inhale. Hold a breath in. Press your low back flat, active feet, little tuck of tail, squeezing the bottom of your buttocks. Exhale, curl your head and shoulders straight up. Relax head and hands. Look at belly. Watch it rise with your in-breath. And as you breathe out, pull your belly in. Inhale, head down, tail down. Hold the breath in. Press your low back flat, little tuck of tailbone up. Exhale, curl head and shoulders off the mat. Draw navel to spine. Relax the belly as you breathe in. And breathe out, pull the belly in some more. Maybe your shoulders rise up a little higher, then you pause there for a moment, reset your new endpoint without straining head and neck. Head and shoulders down. We'll do that 3 more full rounds. Some of you will want to pick your feet off the floor, maybe even legs straight to ceiling. You're welcome to work like that. Inhale down into your low back. Hold the breath in, press your low back flat, tuck your tail, press your feet. Exhale, curl head and shoulders straight up. Look at belly. Inhale, belly rises. Exhale, draw navel to spine. Little tuck of tail some more. Inhale, head down, tail down. Hold the breath in, flatten low back, bottom ribs, top of pelvis on mat. Exhale, curl head and shoulders straight up. Watch belly receive your breath in. Squeeze the breath out by pulling navel in. If your shoulders lift up, pause, and then release head and shoulders down. 1 more full round, breathe in. Hold it in, press the low back flat. Squeeze sitting bones towards tail. Exhale, curl head and shoulders up, squeezing the roll. Breathe in, balloon your belly. Exhale, pull belly in, keep squeezing, roll as you curl tailbone towards roll. Inhale, head down, tail down, still squeezing, roll for a moment. Exhale, relax your squeeze. Take the roll away. Separate your feet a little wider. Put your hands on your belly. Take a few deep breaths. Feel your belly move with your breath. Feel if the temperature in there feels different. Some of you sense things like you'll see colors or get smells. Just notice what you notice. All right, we'll move into our hip flexor stretch on a block. It starts like bridge on a block. So if you have a block, have it handy in reaching distance. You can use your roll instead of a block. We're just gonna give our hips a little bit of height, so a cushion works just fine if you don't have yoga props, formal brand props. You can use any of your toys. Set up like you're setting up for bridge with your feet hips width apart, feet active, toes spread. Press your feet down, tuck your tailbone up. And then as you breathe in, press the feet down to press hips to sky. Exhale, lengthen tailbone towards knees. A little curl pubic bone towards navel to pull navel in. Breath comes up into the rib cage so navel can stay in. And it makes your torso longer. Once you've got a sense of strength of your strong legs, then you reach for your block or your prop, put it underneath your pelvis, block low or medium way. We're going to rest our hips or body weight on it, so not so high, not necessary for what we're doing. Once your hips are on it, little tuck of tailbone, get the top edge of the sacrum down on block, draw right knee to chest. If you can reach knee with hands, hold on to it, or maybe you hold on behind your knee onto your hamstrings. If you're straining to reach any part of your leg, put a towel or something behind your thigh so your shoulders can relax. Send a breath down into right hip. Exhale, squeeze the right knee in. Keep curling tailbone up. Now shift your attention to what you're feeling in the front of the left thigh. Send breath there. Exhale, press foot into floor, little tuck of left sitting bone through left thigh. Then walk your foot out towards straight as it goes, keeping the left foot on the floor. Pause, curl tail, and notice where you feel the stretch in left thigh now or hip. Exhale, hug the right knee in, soft belly. Part 3, floating the left leg, straighten left knee so your foot's off the mat. Some of you might need to tuck the tail more or press the low ribs down towards the ground on the other end of the block so your leg has a float. Active feet so you can relax at the hip joint and let your heavy leg hang from the hip joint. Gravity stretching out those tissues in front of the hip. And as you keep pubic bone curl towards navel into the hip flexors that run inside the belly. Two more breaths. Imagine filling left hip with your breath. And feel what you feel. Unwind very slowly, setting one foot then the other on the floor. Go extra slow with your breath. As you exhale, left knee to chest. Now you're using the hip flexors you just stretched out, so if they're a little cranky and your nervous system's alarmed, pause, slow the breath down, recognize you're okay. And then use your exhales to hug the left knee in more, tucking tail, And if your knee's safe with the right knee still bent, foot pressing into mat, stay in that shape as you shift your attention to what you're feeling in right hip and front of thigh. Stage 2, walking your right foot out. The leg is almost straight, or maybe it straightens, but your foot's still on the floor. A little internal rotation, right thigh in towards center. And then stage 3, straightening right leg. Now, if any one stage serves you better, invites more breath than any of the others, you find a stage that works for you. These are not levels, they're just different shapes for your leg. Those of you whose heel touches down with your leg straight, more tuck of tail, more squeeze of left knee, as if you're trying to get the whole spine down on the other end of the block. All right, set both feet slowly on the floor. Let's take a moment to revisit bridge. Feet maybe a little wider than you started, wider than your hips. Press your feet down, tuck the tailbone up, and use that press down of the feet to press hips up. Any exploration of this pose, I recommend arms relaxed so you can really explore what's going on with the legs and hips. Bit of binding hands or bringing arms up alongside ears gives you the adequate support that you can focus on hips. You can use that. Just check in with your habits, your kleshas, your conditioning. Are you looking for what you think you should feel? Are you breath by breath feeling what is actually here in the present moment? All right, if you've got props under you still, move them aside and slowly roll down. As smooth as you can, keeping the tailbone curling up so you can roll low spine and pelvis down nice and smooth. If windshield wipes are appropriate for your joints, elbows bent out to the sides, feet a little wider, and do a little swish, swish with your breath. Arthritis in the hips, swish, swish, probably not beneficial, so you'll choose a different position to direct the breath into your hips and low back. Middle in the hips, you'll see if movement feels like it lubricates or creates tension. I often call my yoga mat the laboratory. This is where I experiment and learn what's going on. All right, swish yourself over to one side to crawl to downward facing dog. We'll head right in. If you're not down dogging today, stay with cats, cows, dolphin prelude, or any other shape that allows you to stretch your spine out while focusing on deepening breath. Plank. Inhale, shoulders over wrists. If you're in a tabletop, maybe you just scoot your knees back a little bit so you can drop your hips in line with shoulders by curling pubic bone to navel rather than jamming your hips down. Lengthen tail, breathe heart forward. Exhale, lower to your belly. Low cobra, hands out in front of your shoulders, maybe as far forward as Sphinx. Pull the mat towards you to pull heart forward. Keep pubic bone on mat, reaching legs straight back. Huge breath, ballooning chest, collarbones forward. Exhale, downward dog, or your spinal stretch of choice. Warrior one, step right foot forward. Wrapping the shoulders. Bring the arms directly in front of your shoulders. Bend your elbows, turn your palms towards your face. Like you're holding your yoga block between your elbows. Keep it lifted shoulder height without letting these front ribs pop out. So draw them in. Breathe the back ribs up as you drop your tail down. Getting taller through the whole torso, the whole rib cage. Ground down on your feet. If it's possible to straighten left leg all the way, and press the pinky side of left foot into the floor with a soft butt cheek. Almost pull the mat towards you with right foot to help drop the tail down. Take a breath into the back ribs, back of heart. Exhale. Start to lift your block up with your elbows, straightening your arms overhead. At some point, your ribs will come forward, trying to help the arms up. Then reset, front ribs in, back ribs balloon with breath. One more breath. If you want to straighten arms all the way, that's fine. Exhale, down dog, or any other vinyasa. Go extra slow with your breath if you're moving through the full salutation. Staying in feeling mode. Left foot forward, warrior one. Same thing, wrapping the shoulders. Elbows bent, shoulder height, palms face you. That sense of the shoulder blade coming around the armpit. That's what I mean when I say wrapping the shoulders. Really in any arm position. Opening the upper back and stabilizes the shoulder joint. Some of you I know are learning arm balancing and more upper body weight bearing. This trains the big muscles to support your body weight. Saving your rotator cuff for rotating, moving. All right, start to straighten arms to ceiling. Go extra slow so you can feel when your spine gets involved. And then pause, drop the tail down, lift the back ribs up. One more breath in. Exhale, your vinyasa. Right foot forward, warrior one. Interlacing hands behind your back. Squeeze shoulders. Now those of you interlacing, get your palms to touch. So that means you have to bend your elbows so the palms touch. Do that, roll the shoulders back, and from there, reach the arms straight. That'll keep the connections that run through the wrist and attach around the elbow safe. I know a lot of us have wrist issues and it gets scary, but this is actually a nicer, kinder position for your wrists, muscles, and tendons. Those of you who can't bind because of your wrist issues, find a strap or something you can hold between your hands and pull on it. Same action for the shoulders. Exhale, your vinyasa. We'll go extra slow. So some of you are lowering all the way down for a low cobra. You have plenty of time to breathe and explore, observe. Left foot forward, warrior one. Opposite interlace. Or grab your strap or a towel. Keep your wrist straight as you pull on it. Still breathing. Release your hands. Step to the front of your mat. Agnisara. Separate your feet as wide as your mat. Let your toes angle out. Bend your knees. Hands on your thighs. Locking your elbows out. Agnisara, the fire stirrer, starts like Uddiyana. And those of you who don't practice Uddiyana regularly can stay with Uddiyana. So we'll do 3 rounds. Breathing in. When you breathe out, empty all the breath out. Draw the diaphragm up into Uddiyana. And for Agnisara, you'll release and draw up, release and draw up as many times as you can before you need to breathe again. So demo for those of you who have not seen this. So through your 3 rounds, you might get faster and faster, or you might stay slow. Again, if there's still lunch in there, don't do that to it. Do twisting horse instead. If you have not started already, take a big breath in. Empty out completely. Hold your breath out, tuck your chin in, pull your belly in and up, and then relax. And pull it in, and relax. And keep going until you need to breathe, then relax the belly to breathe. And do 2 more rounds on your own. When you are complete, come back to Tadasana at the front of your mat. No hurry if you're still playing. Still stirring the fire. Utkatasana. Inhale, sit back in your chair. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, chaturanga, down dog, or cat-cow. Breathe in. Breathe out. Extended warrior variation, right foot forward, warrior 2. Right forearm to thigh, left arm crosses ear. Press down into your right thigh with your right elbow. Get a lift out of your right armpit, out of your shoulder, and then drag your shoulder blade away from your ear. There's almost no weight on your right arm. See if you can straighten the left arm, getting a long line from your pinky finger through the pinky blade of left foot. Wrapping the shoulder, good, and then straightening it from the wrap. You'll notice if you wrap the shoulder and then straighten, you'll get those tissues that connect down to low back. Your pinky fingers connected to your low back. Breathe into that. Inhale, come up, warrior 2. Straighten your right leg. Adjust your feet a little bit closer together for triangle. Hands to hips. Different variation, modified triangle. Put the blade of your right hand into your right hip crease where it wants to bend. Bend it. Press it in. Yes. So your hips tilt. And we'll just keep hands on hips as you breathe your heart forward, lengthening your spine. Feel for pointing tailbone directly into left heel, real grounded through the feet. Pinky blade of left foot down, right big toe reaching forward. Hips balanced right in the middle, spinning open to the left. You can use your hands to do that. Shoulders back, keeping the ribs in. Press down, left hand onto your left hip. There's a button there. If you push it, it'll pull you back up to standing. Turn your right toes in, left toes out, warrior 2. Extended warrior variation, left forearm to thigh. Right arm crosses ear. This variation, not necessarily coming low. I have very long arms, so I can't come low if I'm not dumping into my shoulder. Lifting out of the bottom shoulder, lengthening through the right arm. And as you straighten the arm, keep the elbow, the point of the elbow spinning forward, those of you who are getting more experience feeling. Modified triangle. Inhale, come up. Straighten your left leg. Adjust your feet a little bit closer. Do so mindfully. Left toes still pointing, almost straight ahead. That's a whole different conversation, but we'll stay with hands on hips, pretty square to side of mat. Left hand presses the left hip in. That will set up your triangle spine right there. If you can increase that hip crease and keep pulling right hip back. And lengthening spine, keeping your tail is the end of the spine, point it away from heart. Press down with your right hand to pull you back up. Extended warrior variation. Turn your left toes in, right toes out, warrior two, find your block. You might have to come out of your warrior pose if your block is not right there. Please don't strain your knees to reach for a block, that's silly. Block the tall way by the outside of your right heel. Left arm reaches past ear. That's it. Now press your right thigh into your right arm, your arm into your thigh as you press your hips forward. Low ribs have to stay knitting in towards each other. For some of you, that'll start to feel like you're starting to lean forward. But from that almost leaning forward space, you can start to spin your rib cage to the ceiling and look up. Bring your left hand to your hip. Scoot your block behind your heel just a little bit so you can come into triangle. Straightening right leg, reaching through big toe, pull your left hip open. And then left arm can reach across from right or it can stay on your hip. Trying to get very straight lines through your legs, through your two arms, but mostly through your spine. Those of us with flexible knees or issues in the hips, keep a little bend in right knee. Push into the mat with your feet. Stabilize around the hip. Left hand back to hip, bend your right knee. Your hands might have to help you come back up. Actually, take your block with you. We're going to the other side. Turn the right toes in, left toes out. Block by your left ankle. Bend your left knee, warrior two. Start with right hand on hip as you set up the legs, and then right arm past ear. If the block is too low, of course you come back to this shape. Huge breaths, conscious breaths, elongating breaths. Shifting into triangle, bring right hand to hip, move your block a little bit back towards heel so that when you straighten left leg, your shoulders over the block. Maybe right arm reaches across. Energy in the hand, whether you spread the fingers wide to feel that energy, or you keep all the fingers together like it's a laser beam. Both are effective mudras. Yeah, if you just want to wiggle your fingers, that's a good way to feel the energy. All right, one more piece. Bend your left knee to come up to standing. Use your hands as much as you need. Take your block with you. Left toes in, right toes out. Warrior two. Block by the inner ankle. Maybe you put it lower this time. Right hand to block. Left hand to hip as you turn your hips, shoulders open. And then left arm can stretch past ear. Pressing thigh into arm, arm into thigh. Again, you can come into right forearm on thigh if you prefer to back out, or if you feel like you can get a little lower into the intentional compression in right hip. Breathe your heart from that space. Triangle, straightening right leg. You might have to move the block towards your heel a little bit more if you're coming into a low triangle. If you want to come higher or readjust your block, you do. Left arm behind your back. Back of hand on sacrum, or you can reach around for right thigh. Optional interlocked warrior, bend your right knee. Some of you reach under right thigh. If you're not interlocking your warrior, you're in extended warrior, elbow on thigh, left arm behind back. All right, come out in a way that's safe for you. If you're feeling strong, unwind your arms. Stay in warrior 2 as you bring your spine straight. For a lot of us, that's too much load on low back. Then you straighten legs and use your hands to help. Warrior 2, left foot. Turn the right toes in, the left toes out. We'll start with the block by the left inner ankle. I would err on setting it high, and then it's pretty easy to lower down if you've got your strong legs bearing most of your weight. Moving into triangle, maybe keeping hand on block and scooching the block back behind heel towards pelvis a little bit. So when you extend all your limbs, you've got shoulder over shoulder. Keep drawing the left hip underneath you. Feel for, ground your left big toe and turn the left thigh open. Yes, like that. Right arm behind back. Either stay here or move into any variation of interlocked warrior, bending left knee, reaching under or propping elbow back on thigh. Let's release hands to the ground. If you're in a position where you can do so, to lower down on belly. If it's easier to stand up and come onto your belly, do that. Find your roll before you come all the way down. Put it back between your thighs. Lying on your belly with your roll between your thighs. Cobra push-ups. And again, I don't know why we call these cobra push-ups. We're not pushing into anything. Squeeze your roll, curl your pubic bone down to mat, strong legs. Pull, don't push. Pull the mat towards you as you breathe your chest forward, squeezing roll. Exhale, keep pulling the mat towards you, squeezing roll as you lower down. Curl tailbone, squeeze roll. Inhale, pull the mat towards you, roll your shoulders back. Exhale, keep pulling as you squeeze roll. 2 more times, squeeze roll, tuck tailbone in. Inhale, pull mat towards you. Exhale, lower down, keeps pulling, keep squeezing. Squeeze roll, turn the thighs into the roll, the fronts of the thighs. Tuck tail strongly. Inhale, pull mat towards you. Pause, roll the shoulders back. Balloon your heart forward a little bit more. Exhale, tuck the tail a little bit more. 1 more huge breath in. Pull and squeeze as you lower down. Slowly ease your way back to child's pose. Pause here if you need to breathe in a neutral place. or pause in tabletop and breathe movement into the hips before you go into the fairly extreme counter pose of child's pose. And find your way onto your back. Some of you will come onto your back and feel ready to rest. You head in. Some of you will visit happy baby. Or if your body's leading you in other directions, as you stay with these last few conscious breaths, palpating through your low back and hips, palpating your whole body, feeling if there's anything else it's asking for in order to surrender. Now watch out for your mind. Your mind has a whole list of things it needs before it will let go. Stay with your body, stay with the sound of your breath. And left to its own devices, the mind will not let go. Here's our work. Making space between you, the witness, and the mind. Thereby disciplining the mind. And training it by taking a moment of surrender, of complete non-doing, not even controlling the breath anymore. Dropping into that place of pure awareness. And the beauty of being in your own space is you are welcome to stay there. Dropping in. If you're ready to transition out, start to deepen your breath. And stay in the watchful place as you turn on the breath and allow your body to find its movements of waking, of returning to sitting. Those of us who do come up will meet in our seats with our palms pressed. Thumbs against your sternum, lift your heart. May the fruits of our practice benefit not only us, but all of our relations. Namaste.